100 Years of Fads, a journey through the trends that shaped our times. Introduction. Welcome to 100 Years of Fads, a journey through the trends that shaped our times. In this audiobook, we'll explore the most unforgettable fads of the past century. From fashion crazes to tech trends, each decade has brought its own unique style and quirks that capture the essence of the times. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Roaring Twenties. The 1920s were a time of celebration and liberation, following the end of World War I. The flapper craze took the world by storm. Young women dressed in short skirts, wore bobbed hair, and enjoyed jazz music. They rebelled against traditional norms, marking a shift toward modernity and freedom. Another fad of the 1920s was flagpole sitting. Yes, people would climb poles and sit on top for hours, even days, to show off their endurance. It became a symbol of the wild, risk-taking spirit of the decade. Chapter 2. The 1930s. The 1930s were marked by the Great Depression, but people still found ways to entertain themselves. One popular fad was dance marathons. Couples would dance for hours, sometimes days on end, competing for prizes. These marathons were often grueling, but they provided an escape from the harsh realities of the time. Another fad of the 1930s was Monopoly, the board game that allowed people to experience wealth and property ownership, even if only in the form of play money. Chapter 3. The 1940s. The 1940s were dominated by World War II, and this influenced popular culture. One unusual fad was victory gardens. People planted their own fruits and vegetables to help with food shortages, creating a sense of community and patriotism. Another trend of the 1940s was swing dancing, which brought joy and energy despite the hardships of wartime. The zoot suit, a flashy outfit with a long jacket and baggy trousers, also became popular, particularly among young men. Chapter 4. The 1950s. The 1950s brought rock and roll and a new teenage culture. Hula hoops were all the rage. Kids and adults alike twirled these plastic hoops around their waists, and the craze swept across America. Poodle skirts were also a big hit, especially with teenage girls who loved to dress up and go to sock hops. Another popular fad was the 3D movie. People flocked to theaters to experience films that seemed to pop out of the screen. Chapter 5. The 1960s. The 1960s were a time of social change and experimentation. One of the biggest fads was the peace symbol, which became a powerful icon during the anti-Vietnam War movement. Tie-dye clothing also became popular, symbolizing freedom and individual expression. The decade also saw the rise of the surf culture, especially in California. Surfing and beach fashion became the epitome of a laid-back lifestyle, capturing the spirit of the 60s. Chapter 6. The 1970s. The 1970s brought disco fever, bell-bottom pants, and roller skating. Disco was more than just music, it was a lifestyle. People flocked to discotheques, where they danced under flashing lights in polyester suits and big hair. Pet rocks also became a bizarre yet popular fad. It was a simple concept, a rock in a box with instructions on how to care for it. People found it amusing, and it became a huge success. Another memorable trend was mood rings, which claimed to change colors based on the wearer's emotions. Chapter 7. The 1980s. The 1980s were all about big hair, neon colors, and video games. One of the biggest fads was the Rubik's Cube. This 3D puzzle challenged people around the world and became a symbol of the decade. Breakdancing also rose to popularity, bringing street dance culture into the mainstream. And of course, the rise of arcade games like Pac-Man and Space Invaders defined entertainment for a generation. Chapter 8. The 1990s. The 1990s saw the birth of digital culture and new forms of entertainment. Beanie Babies became a must-have collectible, with people hoping their rare finds would become valuable someday. Another massive fad was the Tamagotchi, a virtual pet that required constant attention. Meanwhile, the rise of the internet sparked the dot-com bubble, changing how people interacted and setting the stage for the tech-driven 2000s. Chapter 9. The 2000s. The new millennium brought us new gadgets and internet phenomena. The iPod changed the way we listened to music, and flip phones became a fashion statement. Social media also started to take off, with MySpace and Facebook leading the way. Another fad of the 2000s was reality TV. which offered audiences a chance to watch unscripted drama unfold. Shows like Survivor and Big Brother dominated the airwaves. Chapter 10: The 2010s. The 2010s were all about viral trends. Memes became a cultural phenomenon, with people sharing funny images and videos online. Fidget spinners also took off, becoming a popular toy for stress relief. And let's not forget the rise of social media challenges, like the Ice Bucket Challenge, which combined fun with charity. Conclusion: from flappers to fidget spinners, fads have come and gone, each one leaving a mark on society in its own way. These trends reflect the desires, struggles, and creativity of the people who embrace them. Who knows what fads the next century will bring? Thank you for listening to 100 Years of Fads, a journey through the trends that shaped our times.